Right, Mr. Agus, you can control the Zoom meeting now.
Oke. Sudah bisa dimulai ya?
Sure, go ahead, sir.
Oke. Oke, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Oke, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
Waalaikumsalam
wabarakatuh.
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alright, good afternoon everyone and welcome to the Omelette series ya. And this is a special meeting actually because this is our last session ya for this year. Okay, so and today we have two distinguished speakers with us who will share their knowledge and experience, and I hope we can gain something valuable yeah, after at the end of this meeting. And then before we begin our main event, Mr. Rido Khalid, our beloved head of department, will say a few words. Please, Mr. Rido.
Right, terima kasih Mr. Agus. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat sore semuanya. Alhamdulillah dengan kondisi yang sehat ya. Kita doakan juga teman-teman, khususnya Miss Isti ya, yang suaranya hampir habis ya. Jadi relate dengan puasanya hampir habis dan suaranya hampir habis. Ya, saya ucapkan terima kasih juga. Thank you for the all participant, ya, especially the sixth grade, ya, English Education, UIN Raden Intan Lampung. Sekali lagi saya ucapkan terima kasih atas partisipasinya, Miss Fitra Aulia Ansar, PhD, yang sudah memberikan waktunya untuk sharing. Kemudian Mr. Sugeng, PhD, Mr. Sugeng Riyadi, MPD, ya, mudah-mudahan itu jadi doa ya. Kenapa Mr. Agus senyum-senyum?
Amin,
Senyum-senyum.
amin.
Mau
Ya.
dipanggil PhD dasar itu.
Ya, oke. Kemudian Mr. Agus ya, Mr. Agus MPD, beserta mungkin banyak dosen yang juga hadir di sesi terakhir ya pada bulan Ramadan tahun ini. Mudah-mudahan kita juga bisa menyelesaikan Ramadan ini dengan sehat walafiat. Yang pertama saya juga mengapresiasi bahwa yang terakhir Omelet kita bisa berdiskusi. Mungkin juga kita akan ketemu tahun depan. Ya mudah-mudahan ya. Nah, saya ingin mencoba untuk melihat bahwa yang akan diutarakan oleh kedua narasumber kita itu tentang bagaimana jurusan memberikan fasilitas ke mahasiswa-mahasiswa potensial. Ya mudah-mudahan di sini juga punya kesempatan untuk study abroad ya, untuk memberikan tidak hanya mendapatkan wawasan bahasa Inggris, tetapi juga kita juga bisa menjadikan bahwa bahasa Inggris itu sebagai alat. Nah, jadi teman-teman mahasiswa di sini tidak hanya bahasa Inggris ya, tetapi bahasa Inggris akan menjadi alat untuk kalian bisa membuka peluang untuk kemudian melanjutkan S2, siapa tahu bisa S2 di luar ya, itu jadi kesempatan yang luar biasa. Nah, teman-teman partisipan pada sore hari ini, khususnya mahasiswa, jadi mungkin saja Miss Fitra dan Mr. Sugeng akan memberikan pengetahuan yang lebih ya. tidak hanya teman-teman dicetak untuk menjadi guru yang kemudian hanya mentransfer apa itu bahasa Inggris lewat hanya grammar saja, tetapi juga di era sekarang itu ternyata agak berat menjadi guru. Nah, jadi guru itu tidak hanya memberikan pengetahuan tentang only grammar gitu, tetapi juga memberikan apa namanya pengetahuan-pengetahuan lebih ya di luar dari kalau bahasa di kampusnya itu kan apa namanya silang ya silang pengetahuan. Nah itu kembali lagi yang saya bilang bahwa bahasa Inggris coba dijadikan kembali lagi naik kita levelnya bahasa Inggris sebagai alat. Nah saya sebagai ketua prodi saya ucapkan sekali lagi terima kasih untuk para teman-teman dosen yang hadir, kemudian Miss Isti yang juga menyempatkan untuk ya apa namanya menyiapkan segalanya, kemudian Miss Fitra, Mister Agus, Mister Sugeng yang juga nanti akan menyusul untuk datang. Nah, karena the last season ya ini yang terakhir, mudah-mudahan kita akan bisa apa, ketemu kembali ya di tahun depan dengan mungkin tema yang bisa lebih menarik gitu. Ya, mungkin itu saja yang bisa saya sampaikan. Selamat menikmati dan mudah-mudahan dalam waktu 1,5 sampai 2 jam ke depan kita bisa mendapatkan apa pengetahuan yang lebih dari kedua narasumber kita. Mungkin itu saja yang bisa saya sampaikan. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam
Waalaikumsalam.
warahmatullahi
Warahmatullahi
wabarakatuh.
wabarakatuh.
Okay.
Salam
Thank you very
warahmatullahi
much,
wabarakatuh.
Mr. Rido Khalid, as the head of our study program. And before we begin the first, before Miss Fitra answer begin her session, we'll take a group picture, right? Miss Komah ya? Group picture dulu sekarang.
Yes,
Oh
please
ya,
on the
tolong
camera.
untuk semua peserta dihidupkan webcamnya, kameranya. Yang mengambil siapa Misaki ya bukan?
Walah, Mariska ini
Iya, nanti Zakiah yang screenshot.
Oke, ada berapa slide Miss? 7 ya Miss?
Ada 7 slide, jadi tolong ditahan senyumnya teman-teman semua ya.
Sekitar 7 menit ya teman-teman.
Okay, I will start with the first slide. So, let me count. 1, 2, 3. Sabar ya, tahan semua senyumnya ya. Slide kedua. Oke. 1, 2, 3. Oke, slide ketiga. 1, 2, 3. Lanjut slide keempat. 1, 2, 3. Slide kelima. 1, 2, 3. Slide keenam. 1, 2, 3. Dan slide ketujuh. Last.
Ya, kita masuk ke acara intinya ya. To the main event, Miss Fitra Ansar. Okay, before Miss Fitra Ansar present her presentation, let me introduce and share her curriculum vitae. Alright, without background music ya, sorry.
tidak pakai kata-kata Bapak.
Can display. Okay, so as you know, Miss Aulia, Miss Aulia ini baru saja pulang ya, setelah merantau for about 5 years, 6 years ya, Miss.
Four.
4
Nambah-nambahin aja Agus ini.
4 years ya, dia menempuh pendidikan doktoralnya di Queen Belfast University dengan bidang linguistik ya. So if you have any questions about linguistic, Miss Aulia is your man. All right, your woman. Okay, Miss Aulia, this is your chance, and please begin the presentation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Agus Hidayat MPD, for giving me the time. Thank you very much for Mr. Rido Khalid also to give me the chance to speak in front of you all. So this one is a very pleasure chance for me to share my knowledge and experience about academic globally, and then talking about my experience as a student in Queen's University Belfast. But allow me to share my PowerPoint first. Okay, can you see my slides?
Yes,
Yes,
And
Miss.
can you listen to my voice clearly?
Yes,
clearly,
clear.
Okay.
clearly.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. It's a very
Afternoon.
pleasure to meet you all today. So, my name is Fitra Auliansar. Maybe some of you don't know me. So, you can call me Miss Aul. So, I'm a lecturer at PBI, or English Education Study Program, UIN Raden Intan Lampung. And today I want to share something very essential for you, how English can transform your future. So many students may think English is just another subject they need to pass in class, but in reality, actually, English is much more than that. English is a gateway to the world. So this is the chance for you to explore more about English and to learn English deeply. Yeah. So before going further, let me give you some questions that probably can trigger you thinking about academic globally. So where do you see yourself in 10 years? If you have a future plan to pursue your study abroad, you may think this carefully, but if you don't want to pursue your study abroad, it's okay to learn English because it's very beneficial for you as an English education student. So, or do you want to study or work internationally? And how important is English for your future? I think English is very essential for you, very beneficial for you, because this is like a passport for you. If you want to get a job outside after graduating this program, and also if you want to go abroad, and also if you want to work globally. So have a look at this, why English matters. So you have to
Aulia,
know.
Miss Aulia, I'm so sorry. Can you slideshow your PPT so it can be read easily?
Oh, okay.
You need to click the enable editing first.
Oh yeah, I see. Can you see?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, so why English matters? So English is used by over 1.5 billion people worldwide. And if I'm not mistaken, English is the first international language that used worldwide. After that, Mandarin, and then the last one is Arabic. That's why it's very important for you to know English, because if you want to go abroad, the first international language that you can use actually English. To present your research, to communicate with other scholars, of course, you need English. as the media or as a tool for you to transmit your language and also to deliver your ideas clearly to other people from abroad. Okay, so have a look at this. English as a global passport. So by having English, English can open access to international universities. For the students here, maybe you probably have the opportunity now by looking at some universities abroad that you may have a plan to go after finishing or graduating your schools in UIN probably. So you can seek informations regarding to the universities and also scholarships if you want to pursue your study later. And also by having English, you can also open the global chance. You can open collaborations with other networks, and also you can pursue many global careers. Even though you are in Indonesia, and then you can work with the company outside. Of course, the passport of doing so is you have to be expert in English. Then have a look at the global opportunities for English education students. So first, you can study abroad. You can pursue your master's or PhD for the third level of your study. And also you can teach English internationally. For example, you can teach English in Bandar Lampung, or maybe you can also work as a teacher in international schools. I surprisingly met two alumni in English education study program at UIN Raden Intan Lampung when I registered my daughter, Aisyah, in two different school, TMI. I forgot what is it is TMI and also Wellington.
Indonesia.
Ya, itu dia, Tunas Bekar Indonesia. Okay, TMI and Wellington, actually, they are not international schools, but they provide some specific curriculum such as Pearson and also Cambridge. And I found two alumni actually work there, and I really proud of that because I can see my students actually they apply their knowledge and they have the job as what they want as an English teacher. And also you can work in international schools, of course, become researchers and academics, yeah. If you after graduating, you can also make some research, and then you can open access to everyone, and also you can collaborate with anyone from other countries. It is actually very beneficial for you if you're expert in English academically. Okay. So talking a bit about my academic journey. So let me start talking about my journey as an international student in my PhD program. So as like many international students, I thought many beautiful things at the beginning. So I felt very happy, excited, and then it's triggered me to have many experiences, gain with many information. I find my friends from other countries, and I communicate with many scholars. I inform my knowledge to my supervisors at the time, at the first level. But again, after day by day, I also face some challenges. But again, maybe the challenges that I found you couldn't see it clearly in my social media, or you didn't find it, because what we actually give you in social media only the happy moments. But actually, when we become an international students, you have to be wise with both sides of become international students. First, you can get many things, positive things, but also instead of those things, you also find many challenges. For example, you probably have different opinions or notions with supervisors, and you have to communicate it well with the supervisor. Maybe you have different path with your supervisor, but you have to consider what the solutions to find the same path to make this research finished, and also how to solve like your cultural shock, because sometimes Indonesian students like me, at the beginning, when we become an international students, somehow we put our cultures, and then like we know it all. Like, oh, I'm quite smart for this. But when you face the word, oh, when you face your friends, and then you gain with the many scholars and also many people, oh, we still have lack informations on that. That's why we have to be wise to open our mindset, and also we have to like communicate well, and then we have to be wise well to receive any informations, and also yeah, try to learn more and never stop learning. So I think English also help to reach global opportunities. Why I say so? After finishing my defense in November 2025, actually I didn't go back to my country, Indonesia, at the time. Why? Because I think I have to do my revisions first, and also I have to like go out from this place or from UK smoothly, because I have abundant memories here. So when at the time, since December to January, I looked for a job, and then I got the job as a research collaborator. So Science and Technology department actually specifically for AI generated research, they actually need some researchers from linguistics, and then we collaborate to make some research. And then I worked there, and Alhamdulillah, not only knowledge that I got, but also the institution or the department paid me. It's about 12 pounds per hour. So if Indonesian, we convert it like 300,000, 300,000 per hour. So I work Monday to Friday, and it's if I'm not mistaken 20 hours per 20 hours per week. And Alhamdulillah, it's like give me a chance to gain more knowledge and gain more money. Yeah. Next, so English as a global language. So English can connect people across cultures. In my experience, the PhD students, not only from the local or at that time UK citizens, but also for many international students, such as from India and also from Chinese. So I have so many friends from different backgrounds. Then we have like many informations from many people, and then it is very good and very beneficial moments, yeah, for us. And also English used in international business, education, and diplomacy. So I think it is very important for you to know English, because if you want to expand your business abroad, and if you want to have any opportunities abroad, the first thing that you have to prepare is your English. So English as a lingua franca. English used between speakers of different languages, focus on communication and in understanding rather than perfect accent. So as a linguist, we know that English English as a lingua franca means that English used between many speakers as a unity language that actually unite us, and then English becomes very important to deliver the message of the speakers. And very important thing that you know what you are talking about rather than you consider with the perfect accent. So somehow many people worry to speak English or to produce the languages in writing because they afraid to make mistakes. But you have to know that in my experience, the most important thing when you communicate with other people is the meaning of your communications. So you don't have to you don't have to focus with the accent and also the grammar. The one that you have to prepare is how to deliver the message to the listener. So what you have to prepare is the communicative competence. So in effective communication requires grammar, of course. This is like the basic grammar that you have to understand how to make the sentence clearly especially in academic situation, and also how you consider the context, or in what time that I have to say this, which one is the appropriate one to say this. Yes, this one is a very important one, sociolinguistics awareness, and also discourse organization, how you deliver the message clearly and systematically, and also communication strategies, like how to adjust your communication, how to adjust the situation, like that. So the important thing is you have to know also about the intercultural communications, because when you go abroad, you're gonna meet many people from different background, different cultures, and you have to understand cultural differences because they have different cultures with yours. So you have to know that there are some adjustments that you have to do in communications, and you have to also respect others, and also you have to develop your global awareness with what should you communicate and what shouldn't you communicate, like that. Okay, so in the context of English education students, it is really essential to know academic English, because even though you're not going to continue your study in master program, you want to work directly after graduating. The first thing that you have to strengthen is your academic English. So by what? You can consider 4 important things. First, academic reading, by train yourself reading many academic sources, articles, journals, books. So they can give you comprehensible input that you can actually access. Then you can also use it to produce it by in writing and also in speaking. So I think it's a win-win solution. Like you get the input and also you make the output by producing the input, like that. So like you have to train yourself to read and academically, and also you have to train yourself to write academically. It needs time, it needs process, but you have to be patient because process will get you the results. And also you have to know how to deliver your presentations, like how to make research communications and presentations, because sometimes some people only just read the presentations, I think not some students, most of the students of mine, if I give the presentations chance, they just read the text, the one that you have to train by now, like you have to know how to deliver the text clearly to the audience with your own words. It would be better if you can communicate it academically. Yeah. So how to do that? Yes, rehearse, practice, practice, and practice. Yeah. Okay. So what skills that you need for global students? So first, English proficiency. You have to, again, you have to find many sources, learn as much as you can, and then you can target yourself. If you want to continue your study, means that you have to learn how to get the certificate of your English competency. By what? Like having the results of IELTS test, TOEFL test, Pearson test, or Duolingo test. But you cannot get the test if you don't prepare. You have to prepare it first. You have to find the informations. You have to gain main information, train yourself, rehearse more, practice with your friends, and then seek the informations. And then the second one, the important thing, if you want to be global students, you have to think critically. So it happens to my daughter, Aisha and Rifat as well. When I ask them to do something and then ask them to don't do something, they're gonna ask me why. The reason why I don't have to do this, why? So you have to trigger yourself about why this has happened. It is also like my supervisor told me before, Fitrah, I know this is the finding of your research, but you just don't see the data on the floor. But you have to know, you have to gain the informations more. You have to see it from different perspectives. So you have to see why this has happened and why this is different with others, why this is pro and contra, why. So you have to know it deeply. So this is very important for you to think critically. And then you have to also learn how to make research academically, yeah, systematically also, like what you have done today as a sixth semester. Maybe this is the time for you to make a title of your research. Maybe you can train yourself to make a good research, yeah. And then we, as a lecturer here, we facilitate you. If you want to ask, just come. We welcome you, but don't ask me in the yeah, in the rest time or in the break time. Please find the appropriate time to ask many questions to us. We actually welcome you. Please, you need to be active to gain your dream. And then also you have to be open-minded for digital literacy as well, because we are in, yeah, digital era. So how to prepare yourself for study abroad? I still have time, yeah? So first, you have to improve your English proficiency, not only your daily conversations, vocabularies, but also you have to improve your competency in English proficiency, and also how to communicate by using academic English. And you have to prepare the standardized test. What is the functions of having this test and having the results of test? This is a proof for everyone that you actually eligible. You are the one that can go abroad if you have the result of the test. It's like how to say, a visa for you, yeah, to go abroad. So you have to get the result of the test. But again, because it's quite expensive, you have to prepare first. If you are good enough, or you can track the improvement. If you see that you are ready enough to have the test, then go. Yeah. Some universities, most universities need IELTS, TOEFL, and some universities also accept Duolingo. So just find the way So find a way and find the money as well to register for the test. Okay, next, build academic achievement. Build academic achievement like you join many competitions on English, and also you collaborate with others, collaborate with your friends or classmates, and also you can collaborate with other students from other universities. And also you have to seek scholarship opportunities by open your mind, open yourself to any information. You can find information from social media and from internet. You can find information from your lecturers, teacher, and Alhamdulillah, I try to do my best. One day, if you want to continue your study abroad, inshallah, I inshallah I will help you, like give you a guidance to do that, or like a mentorship to do that, and also I will give you recommendation letter if you need, inshallah. Next, so for scholarship opportunities here. In scholarship opportunities, there are abundant actually scholarships that you can find. But here, the most popular ones, first is LPDP. LPDP is coming from our government, Indonesia, and you can search how the LPDP requirement to have this scholarship to the students, and then you can learn how to get the scholarships. You can ask for mentorship from the awardee as well. And chevening is for UK students, for international students. But if you want to UK, you got this one alternative scholarship is chevening, and the other one Fulbright for US, and Australia awards for Australia. And I proud of one of our students as well become students using this Australia Award scholarship. If I'm not mistaken, Hakim, Bani Al Hakim, this is your senior as well. Yeah, he study education in Melbourne University. I don't understand well, but you can search for that. Yeah. So and another one is Erasmus. Erasmus is the scholarship for if you want to go to Europe. So there are some common challenges that we have to face if you want to be a student abroad, first, or international student. First is we may have low confidence in English because you think that your competency in English is not good enough to compete with other students. But the thing that you have to understand that English is our foreign language. It's not our second language. So you don't have to compare yourself with Indian students or Malay students, for example, because both of them, their second language is English. But English is a foreign language. But again, you cannot just rely on this thing. You have to like learn. If you know that you are weak in English, so you have to improve your English, right? And limited informations, we just close ourselves with many informations. We like somehow a bad habit that happens to international students, like they underestimate many informations from many sources. So you have to be open-minded, and then you have to accept, receive wisely every informations. And then fear of international competition. Again, it's similar to low confidence in English. You feel not good enough to compete with others. So these things that you have to remove in your mind, because we need to process. I'm not expert as well. You too. But how to overcome this problem? You search. You develop your own self. You find the solutions. We have so many solutions. You can find the internet, find the social media, find partner to speak with. So there is no closed door. There is no closed door of this one. It's not a closed case. You have a chance to upgrade your knowledge. So again, so how to overcome the challenges? Practice English daily, join academic communities, seek mentorship for LPDP, for Indonesians endorsement scholarship. Actually, LPDP has provided a facility for mentorship. Some of them are free, but some of them actually you have to pay for that. There are costs for having the mentorship. But again, if you don't have money, you just join the previous one, the free ones, yeah. And also you can also use online learning resources to upgrade your skills. So what is your action plans ahead? First, you have to read English books and journals. You have to gain many inputs, comprehensible inputs. Yeah. So how if I really like to read a novel, for example? It's okay. It depends on you. As long as you think that the the novel can upgrade your skills in at English, like the vocabularies as well, it's very good. But it is also important for you to know some academic words. Yeah. Practice speaking regularly so you can practice your speaking to your classmates, your partner, your lecturer as well. So if you want to get the service of your lecturer, you can ask them by using English because we are English lecturers, so we can practice English together and participate in seminars or conferences. So you have to be active to find informations of seminars and conferences and join them. Engage with the situations of academic situations. Engage with the conference. Engage with many collaborators. Give your best to show your idea to the scholars, and then gain informations from any other scholars and improve yourself. Okay, so your future as PBI students, you could be a global educators. You can also become an international scholars by having so many research, international research. You can also become a leaders in English education. So my closing statement here, your English determines your future. So I just also want to underline here that if you are the alumni in abroad and you are alumni in Indonesia, there is no difference. They actually have the positive and the weakness, but the most important thing that you have to know that what is your goal? What do you want to achieve? Yeah, this is the important one. So English doesn't also just focus on international students, but also this is your passport to be an alumni of English Education Study Program. So dream globally, start locally, prepare academically. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I will give it back to the moderator, Mr. Agus Hidayat, MPD.
Okay, thank you very much, Miss Fitra Huliansar, for a very interesting presentation about, yeah, and this is a good chance, yeah, for you to learn from the one who have experienced everything, yeah, the effort, the effort, yeah. So, yeah, and Miss Aulia earlier prepare a mentorship program, yeah, for you who want to what is it, dream to be a student abroad, and then
Inshallah.
yeah, you can see find Miss Aulia at jurusan, ya, kantor jurusan on work days. Okay, okay. So before okay, so before we go to the second speaker, if you have any questions, please ask your questions, or we can begin from the chat, ya, from Mr. Said. Mr. Said ini semangat sekali. Tadi waktu belum mulai sudah tepuk tangan duluan dia. Hmm. Oke, kita bahas beberapa pertanyaan ya. Miss dari Mr. Said, do you believe that universities in English-speaking countries provide a different approach to teaching English compared to universities in non-English-speaking countries like Indonesia? So, what do you think, Miss Aulia?
Oh, it's very hard questions. Okay, I'm trying to answer. So, first, my experience as an international students here, let me give you overview of my study. So, in pursuing PhD program in abroad, especially my campus or university, so the university provide three kinds of learning styles. First, by thought, second, by research, and then the third one is by publication. So by research, by thought, you need to join the class. So it's probably 2 years you have to join the class. If you pass, then and then you also make research regarding that, but it's just a small research. We call it as a project. But for the third one, it's like you don't have to join the class, but you have research that actually valuable, and it's like heavier than this project. And then the third one is publication. So you have to make a small research and also make a publications related to your research. Then you can get the you can pursue your PhD if you finish the third publications. So in my experience, I joined the study by research. So I just have to spend my time around 4 years to make one of my research. So my research is talking about multimodal critical discourse analysis in Islamic English medium textbooks in UK. So there is a big goal that I have to do by doing this research, and then there is like a control every month. It depends on the supervisors. So we have two supervisors. So first supervisor and second supervisors, and we like make the schedules every month to meet to see our progress and also to see our what you have already read, and then what resume that you made by the results of your ratings. So those things we do regularly, and then I think probably I cannot compare with PhD program in Indonesia or doctoral program in Indonesia because I have no experience on that. But what I've experienced from my friends, they actually experience study by thought. So you have to, or fourth semesters, you have to join the class, if I'm not mistaken, then you have to do the project. But also you have a duty to publish your paper. So I think it's also comprehensible to be students in Indonesia because you have to prepare many things. From you have to pass the class, you have to also you have to make a research, and also you have to follow the rules that you have to publish a paper, then you can finish the study. So yeah, I think quite challenging.
Okay. Okay, thank you. And then there is other question from Mr. Said.
Again.
Yeah, follow-up questions maybe. Yeah. Now, does a scholarship really, really, really cover all of our expenses prior, during, and after studying abroad?
Yeah, very nice questions, by the way. So for scholarship, actually, if you want to go by your own self, actually it covers all those things like tuition fee, living cost, and other things. But if you go with your family, you have to provide more extras because some scholarships also provide the tuitions for your, the living cost for your family, or we call it family expenses. But some also actually don't provide that. So, but even though they provide it, like my case, I have to prepare another one that actually uh, as a passport, like the administration fee for the visa, because there is no responsibility of the scholarship to pay for that for your family, so you have to prepare. And also some in visa requirements, there is a need to give your informations of bank details, so you have to give the deposito, yeah, deposit for yeah, quite many, yeah, if if you count in family. But for you yourself, I think it cover all from the prior, during, and after studying. But sometimes we face many challenges, like there is a late of those things. So it's just how you manage your money wisely. Yeah.
Oke, seperti itu ya, Mr. Said. Mau sendiri atau sama keluarga nanti rencananya, Mr.? Persiapkan dulu keluarganya ya. Oke, the last question ya for Miss Aulia session. After this we go to the with Mr. Sugeng. The last question ini masalah yang sedang hot ya, Miss. Dealing with awardees that do not go back and work in Indonesia. What do you think about this?
Oh, very deep questions though. Um, Somehow I think I somehow agree for different point of view, but somehow also I disagree, uh, because you have the responsibility to go back, because you actually go abroad from our scholarship, our Indonesians endorsement scholarship. So you have to responsible to make a contribution to our country. However, I just also see from the other's perspective, maybe this person wants to give a better future for her child, because what I've experienced, yeah, there are also positive things living abroad for your child's, like your children get very open open your child can get access widely. And also your the curriculum quite different, like in UK, they don't need to focus on learning how to read, how to count things, but they build their disciplines, their soft skills, how to communicate well, how to deliver the informations from the beginning, and how to do some works together collaboratively. So I think yeah, maybe I see from those things. But again, uh the bad attitude that I think, because she compared it publicly, and also there is no yeah, I know this person, they have done good, they have done some contributions, but the case of her husband actually uh, hasn't started any contributions yet, so that's become a trigger problem in public. So it depends on the person again, but according to me, as the one awarded that I got the scholarship, I have to go back to my country to give my contributions. That's it.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much, Miss Aulia. Now, if you still have other questions for Miss Aulia, you can write your questions in the chat room. And now let's go to the second speaker, Mr. Sugeng Riyadi. Mr. Sugeng?
Ya, halo.
Yeah, okay. Okay, now we go to the second speaker, Mr. Sugeng, who will share his information about something related, about things that we can do abroad, Mr. Sugeng. And before we give a chance to Mr. Sugeng to present his material, let me briefly introduce let me display the CV of Mr. Sugeng Riyadi. Yeah. Mr. Sugeng Riyadi is one of our lecturers in PBI who have been teaching for several years, yeah, from 2017, Mr. Sugeng. And he was graduated and he got his master's degree in Universitas Negeri Jakarta. He is currently our expert in cross-cultural understanding and also English for academic purpose, yeah, Mr. Sugeng. Okay, so if you have any questions about English for academic purpose or cross-cultural understanding, you can ask Mr. Sugeng later. Okay, now is the chance for Mr. Sugeng to present your material. Okay, the time is yours, Mr. Sugeng.
Thank you so much. Everyone, you can hear me clearly from your position?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Let me share my presentation first. Okay, everyone, thank you so much for the time, for the chance that you give to me. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, right. The head of English department, Mr. Idu Khalid MPD, and then the secretary of English Education Department, Ms. Yulan Puspitarini, all my friend lecturer from English department, especially our guest today, Ms. Fitrah Aulia Ansar PhD, that give wonderful insight, on how all of you guys able to develop yourself, study abroad, Okay. In this occasion, we should thanks to Allah SWT that today is now in the 23rd holy month of Ramadan, hari yang ke-23. We do hope that Allah always give us barakah day, blessing time, to all of you, to our family, and so on and so forth. And today, this wonderful time, I try to share about the information, but different perspective. And here, I will share you on how all of you guys, whether you are come from English department or maybe from the other faculties, ada yang dari fakultas lain, all of you actually can or able to work, to get the job overseas. So it's depend on you, semua tergantung kalian, You should find the information. You should able to develop your English, especially your communication. Then you can start to find the job. Because job is very important in your life. Okay, in this seminar, what is the purpose? What is the purpose of this seminar? For all of the dear students that have come into this occasion, I do hope that you written down this important goal. Ini penting banget tujuannya kamu hadir di seminar. After joining the seminar, absolutely, I do hope you get the job overseas. Dapat kerja di luar negeri. Caranya gimana How to get the job overseas? Get the job and then develop your career in international opportunities. And then also know how to apply your job vacancies. Gimana cara ngelamar nanti ngelamar pekerjaan itu. Understanding the step, the profile, the application process completely. CV-nya disusun dengan bagus dan benar dan lengkap. And then everyone, after joining the seminar, you should know the country. You should know the country where you will get the job or where you find the job. You know, if you want to go to Australia, you should know and study about the culture, rule. Jadi harus tahu nih budaya, sopan santun, adab, dan lingkungan di Australia. If you want to work in Singapore, yeah, or Qatar or Dubai or everywhere, first you should know the country, the culture, the rules, aturan-aturan di sana, adab, ya, sopan santun, and so on so forth, ya, you should understand it. Ya, jadi tadi mudah-mudahan insya Allah bisa kerja di luar negeri, tahu cara bikin CV dan lamarnya, tahu negaranya, and then know your dream. Yeah, it's mean that you should know what particular job, yeah, particular career that you want to have, that you want to dream, that you want to apply in the overseas. Tahu nih pekerjaannya bidang apa ya saya kerja nih, ngelamarnya gimana. And then this is the most important, the money and the salary, right? Yeah, this is very important. The salary, ya. Oh, sorry. Okay, the salary, gaji, ya, uang. You should know how much salary. Berapa gajinya per bulan, Mr. Sugeng, kalau di Singapura, ya. Berapa bulan, berapa dolar kalau kerja, gajinya kalau kerja di Jerman, ya. You know the salary. Because money is, I think money is important in our life, right? Salary is important. Now the company, the factory and job field, ya, tahu perusahaannya apa, di bidang apa, dan bagian apa. And all of you guys, setelah ikut presentasi ini, saya pengen kalian think globally, ya, berpikir global. Open your mindset. Not only think in Indonesia. That I do really sorry for Indonesia now is very hard to find a job. So think globally, things outside. Yeah, you are still young, you still have energy and also time. Yeah, to build a strong career in your life to be successful person. Jadi harapan saya sama dosen-dosen, kalian ini sukses semuanya nanti, bekerja dengan baik, ya, gajinya besar, dan bisa apa ya, mencukupi kebutuhan hidup kalian, membahagiakan keluarga kalian. Right. Okay? Right. And yes, I want to ask you, pertanyaannya gini, what is your plan after graduation? Nah, kira-kira apa rencananya setelah lulus nanti? Ya, apa nih kira-kira rencananya? Ya, punya rencana nggak nih? Atau ngikut-ngikut aja atau masih belum jelas ya mau ngapain? Planning is very important. Yeah. When I observe and research, simple research in journal, I categorize 3 things of student plan, Indonesian student plan after graduation. Number 1, the student get married after graduate. Nah, ada yang setelah lulus nikah. Ya, wah saya pengen nikah Mr. Sugeng karena saya sudah punya pasangan. Nah, ada yang nikah nih, ya. Atau mungkin ada yang belum lulus sudah ada yang nikah ya. Kadang-kadang ada yang nggak gitu. Tapi ya rencananya mereka ada yang nikah. And after married, ya, after married you will have a baby, you have a children, you punya anak. Terus ngapain? Ya cari kerja dong, ya kan? So job is very important in your life. And then secondly, when I read the journal, they continue their study. Nah, mereka lanjut kuliahnya, ya. Some of them continue their bachelor degree S1 kalau yang masih SMA SMK. They continue to master degree, ya, continue their study to master degree program S2 or PhD program, ya. Mereka lanjut kuliahnya. And the last is absolutely get the job, ya. Setelah lulus kalian harus bekerja, guys. Harus kerja. You should get the job. How much money do you spend to study in campus? You parent working hard all the time, all day, all long, give you money, transfer you money. If your parent late transfer you, you complain to them, right? Semua perlu uang ya. Orang tua kalian sudah berusaha keras, dan setelah lulus, you should work. Jadi ada 3 ya tadi ya. Rata-rata mereka menikah, melanjutkan kuliah, dan bekerja. And most of the graduation student, they will find the job after graduate. I also browsing some information couple week ago before I conduct this presentation. This is the situation that happened right now. Job seeker in Indonesia, 2025. Imagine that, guys, how crowded, how hot, and how difficult for the young generation to get the job. Aku tuh kadang mikir ya, kalau aku di antara tumpukan orang-orang itu, ya Allah, gimana perasaan gue ya, nyari kerja susah gitu ya, udah lulus. Ya, this is the situation happening in Indonesia right now. So you should understand it, and it will happen to you. Yeah, you will face this challenge in 2006 or 2011, 2008. I don't know what time you will graduate, and this is the reality. I tell you the reality. And also the today's problem, I have 6 challenge ya. 6 challenge that you should face if you graduate. Ya, 6 tantangan yang kalian harus hadapi jika lulus nanti. 1, persaingan ketat. Ya, tight competition. 1,000 student from different campus in Indonesia. Also, 1,000 students graduate from vocational school for junior high school. Imagine that. Very tight competition. Susah banget, saingannya ketat. Secondly, ya, jumlah lowongan tidak selalu sebanding. Limited vacancies. Lowongannya sangat terbatas sekali dengan jumlah pelamar yang banyak. And then the third, some company have a prerequisite site, yeah. Demand you should have experiences. Harus punya job experience. Kamu harus punya lapangan apa itu minimal pengalaman kerja lah 1 sampai 2 tahun tuh. Itu kadang di iklannya ya. Itu dicantumkan. How? The question is, how about if you fresh graduator? You just graduate from UIN Lampung, nggak punya pengalaman. Terus gimana? Saingannya banyak, jumlah lowongannya sedikit, syaratnya harus pengalaman, dan kalian baru lulus. That's happen, right? Tantangan yang ketiga tadi. Oh, sorry. And we continue. Banyak lowongan dengan tuntutan skill tambahan. Ya, kalian harus dituntut nih punya skill tambahan. Ya, bisa desain, bisa apa itu drafting, make video, dan banyak sekali tuntutan-tuntutan lainnya. And also, the company also require you, yeah, and they need you to able to speak English, ya. Able to speak English, ya, harus bisa bahasa Inggris, ya kan? And have the ability to, speak in front of the people, confident, ya, have a leadership skill. Some certificate also. Penting itu diminta nanti. Kamu punya sertifikat apa nih mau ngelamar di sini? Ya itu harus dipersiapkan. And also I do really shock and surprise Mr. Agus and the others. Bahkan ada yang harus bayar mau kerja itu. Some of the what is that? People who want to get the job, they should pay for that. Mereka harus bayar, gitu ya. And then faktor relasi dan orang dalam atau jaringan network. Nah, kalau kita sebut, we call it ya, ordal. Nah, ini bahaya sekali ini. Kalian, how smart are you? How skillful are you? How much skill? How many skill do you have? If you don't have the ordal or the intern relation, nggak orang dalam, nggak bisa apa-apa. And that's happened. Ya, this is the situation that happened in Indonesia right now, everyone. So be prepared for that. Harus siap-siap, ya. And then, right, continue. When you get the job, ya, kadang gajinya tidak sesuai. Ya udahlah, saya nggak, yang penting kerja, Mr. Sugeng, apapun lah. Saya S1 yang penting kerja ya. Ya udah, gajinya nggak sesuai, kadang gajinya rendah ya. And the salary is not enough, not able to, to make you happy ya. So the low salary ya, the low salary is also problem. Ya, harapannya ya, what is your expectation after you 4 years study, 4 tahun belajar itu kan udah S1, wah dapat gajinya tuh gede lah. 5-6 juta, 10 juta atau 50 juta ya. Ada yang kayak gitu, ada ya. Tapi kalau gajinya di bawah 1 juta, 600.000, 500.000, apakah ada? Ada. Sarjana digaji ke situ, segitu ya. And also after graduate, pasti kamu kena mental nih ya. Kalau ditanya, misalkan kamu nganggur ya, sudah ngelamar sana sini, nggak diterima, nggak sesuai ekspektasi, kemudian tanya kapan kamu kerjanya, setelah lulus, karena orang tua sangat berharap sama kalian kan, itu juga menjadi challenge ya. It's about to be the challenge for your future career. Okay. Now with this problem in situation, so what you will do? What you will do, guys? Jadi kamu dengan situasi yang saya paparkan tadi, kamu mau ngapain? Ya udah, let's go. Ya, if there is no chance in Indonesia to get the job, ya, there is still many chance you work overseas. Ya, jika nggak dapat kerja di dalam negeri sendiri, dunia masih luas, men. Banyak loh orang Indonesia tuh yang kerja di Jepang, Korea, Australia, Timur Tengah, Eropa. Dan ada teman saya yang dikerja di Jerman, ya mereka kalau saya bukannya sombong ya, dibandingkan dengan saya, pinteran saya, tapi rezekinya bagusan dia gitu ya. Dia kerja di Jerman, gajinya 60 juta per bulan, ya. Dan mereka waktu kerja itu dia cuma lulusan SMK. So, everybody, all of you, don't feel down, don't doubt about yourself. You should be very confident right now, harus percaya diri, improve yourself, improve your English. Let's start your journey to work overseas. I send you some of the young Indonesian young generation that work in overseas. Yeah, they're still young, same young as you. The average of their age is around maybe 20 or 23, 24, 25 or 30. Yeah, so you still young. You are on the same age as them. Why you don't work there? Okay. Try to be more quick, guys. Here I also show you in the salary because this is very important. The rates of overseas salary and rupiah. Yeah, I take this from journal and also from the official website from the government. And this is the rates of overseas salary and rupiah. Kalau kalian kerja di Amerika sekarang sebulan 58 juta. Ini yang paling tinggi. Di Singapura yang paling tinggi 67 juta. Ya. Australia 66 juta. Kalau S1 ya ini ya, tapi ya. Kemudian di Uni Emirat Arab 57 juta and so on so forth ya. Ini yang S1. Kalau yang SMK berarti di bawahnya ini. New Zealand, we have New Zealand here in the salary 45 million. Korea Selatan, Oman, Bahrain, Brunei Darussalam 26 juta, Malaysia 13 juta untuk S1 ya. And this is what is that? The span of the salary. It's kind of like the estimation, yeah. The estimation of the salary, yeah. If you work in South Korea, in Japan, Hong Kong, and Taiwan. Ya, jadi ini estimasinya seperti ini, bervariasi. You can work in restaurant, in the factory, ya, bisa kerja di resto, di pabrik, caregiver, ya. Apa ya, caregiver itu kayak yang ngomong itu, yang perawat ya, manufacturer, and so on so forth. And according to the information from the journal, this is the list of the country in 2006 ya, that welcome you if you can speak English. Ya, if you can speak English, kalau kamu bisa bahasa Inggris dengan lancar di Singapura, kamu bisa bekerja di hotel. Ya. Di kapal pesiar, di teknisi, di admin, di food and beverage, F&B itu food and beverage. In the hotel department, there is food and beverage. Mau di Malaysia, kalian bisa bekerja di bangunan, manufaktur, konstruksi, restoran. Hong Kong, kalian bisa bekerja sebagai pembantu rumah tangga, perawat, pengasuh orang tua, dan hotel. Kalau di Uni Emirat Arab bisa di hotel, restoran, barista, security dan sebagainya ya. Tuh. Kalian lihat ini nanti bisa share ya. You can access my PowerPoint everyone, so you can read it in your home. And this is the most important thing, how to apply and find the job vacancies. Everyone, you get ready? Karena targetnya hari ini kamu harus dapat kerja. Caranya gimana? Number one, prepare your CV. Your CV. I will share I will share you in the CV, the example of the CV. Improve your English speaking. Absolutely, you should improve your English speaking, especially the way you communicate, the way you talk with the other. Ya. Nah, gimana sir kalau saya masih agak susah gitu ya? I'm not really confident to talk. Ya belajar. Ada waktu belajar, sisihkan waktu belajar. Start now. You can practice talking with your classmate, with your partner, with your bestie, or you can go online. There are many chances how to improve your English speaking, English communication. Nah, CV-nya sudah siap, bahasa Inggrisnya sudah bagus, ya. And then find vacancies, cari lowongan. Everyone, sorry, this is wrong number. I think this is wrong number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But okay, let me explain it. Find vacancies, kemudian register online. Ya, nanti kamu daftar secara online in Indonesian Migrant Worker Agent, Badan Perlindungan Pekerja Migran Indonesia. Ya. Nanti kita lihat nih cara registernya gimana, cara cari lowongannya gimana. Ya, kita lihat nanti ya. Kemudian send your application letter, interview, sign the job contract, ya, and have got the visa ya, visa for work. This is the example of CV ya. You can access everywhere ya. This is the CV. In CV, you should put interesting thing. The photograph should be very interesting. Harus senyum, harus energetic fotonya ya. Harus cantik, harus bagus. Kalau diedit tuh harus bagus, jangan cemberut gitu ya. And then you phone number, right? And the skill. In here, I have the CV, Charlia Patricio ya. You can see in the CV ya. Jadi ada nomor handphonenya, ada alamatnya, fotonya bagus, menarik. Kemudian skillnya apa kamu tulis di situ. Education. The education also important. Please write down the education, the school, the university, the education that you have. And also the achievement, prestasi kamu apa harus di situ tulis biar orang tertarik. Kemudian kalau ada apa itu? The experience, work experience, you can also put over there. Ya, CV-nya bisa kalian lihat-lihat lah. Oke, di sini saya akan mulai membagikan ya slideshow-nya. Cara melihat lowongan di luar negeri ya. Kemudian apa itu lowongannya itu? Kita bisa, kita bisa lihat di website. Give me time guys for open the website ya. Hold on, give me time. I do really sorry because I tried to access the website. Okay, so just give me a second. This one, don't forget nanti bisa share nih lowongan. Nah, Cisco 2MI. This is the official website. Okay, right. Thank you. The internet line is good. Wait a moment. Okay, in this view, there is a name of the country, right? Afghanistan, Afrika Selatan, Aljazair, Amerika, and so on and so forth.
I think you
Yeah.
should stop share first because it is still in the PPT, not in the website.
But what is that? Everyone can see the website, right?
No, still in PPT.
No, Miss.
No, Mister.
You need to
Oh,
stop
sorry.
share first.
Oh, stop
Cannot,
service
sir.
ya. Sorry, okay. Okay, sorry guys. Sorry for that. I do really sorry. Let's see. Let me try to fix this one. Okay. Should I do? Can I share this? Everyone? Hello everyone, do you see my screen? On your handphone or in your computer, you can see my screen?
Yes.
Ya, bisa, Sir.
Okay, thank you. I do really sorry for this. I think that I can share directly. Everyone, this website is government website. Yeah. And you can see on the screen, the name of the country is on the left part. Yeah. Let's just browsing the name of the country. Ya. Ini nanti kalian coba semua ya. Let's see Australia. I like Australia ya guys. I do hope someday I will go there. In Australia, cuma ada 3 lowongan guys. Carpenter. What is that carpenter? Apa itu carpenter? Tukang ya. Nah, ada lowongan tukang nih di Australia guys. Okay, just click this. Click Australia and then the vacancy will show directly to you. And this is the best chance of your life. We click this. Try to click this. All right. Wait a moment. Error. Oh, wait, guys. Sorry. So,
Antartika, sir.
why I can open this ya? Kenapa ya? Let me. Let me try to find another country, maybe Saudi Arabia ya. Okay, this one, Auto Dental. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Nah, right. Ini tadi lowongan di Saudi Arabia. Auto Dental. Ini rental mobil atau semacamnya ya. Okay, and there is a phone contact in here. Yeah, you can see the phone contact. You might send information ya. Try to communicate if you interest. And also the email. And this is the description of the job. Deskripsinya isinya seperti ini. Perform reparation of body car. Oh, ngecat mobil nih. Oh, ini apa ya? Clean and organize the work area. Apa ya? Cuci mobil ya, tukang cuci mobil. Nah, laki-laki 1 orang. Akomodasi penginapan so on so forth. Gaji 3.000. Maksudnya 3.000 real ya. Berapa tuh kalau 3.000 real? Kita lihat ya. Gajinya 3.000. Pendidikan tidak tidak dipersyaratkan guys. Jadi kadang di luar negeri itu syaratnya nggak aneh-aneh gitu ya. Oke, gajinya 3.000 real. Jadi bisa di browsing di sini ya. Oke, kita lihat ke
Mr. Sugeng,
ya.
mengingat waktu yang sudah
Waktu ya.
semakin sore, Mister.
Oke.
Kalau
Thank
bisa
you.
dipercepat.
Yeah. Right. Thank you. I think everybody, it is easy for you to access this website. You can find the job that you want. I try to give you a kind like clue how to find formal job from the official government official if you want to get the job in overseas. And then I will share you the website, very kindly share you the website so you can access it everywhere you like. Yeah? Okay? Jadi nanti saya share alamatnya ya. Atau saya share di sini aja. This one. This is the official website, everyone. That you can access after graduate or before you graduate, you can prepare yourself. Yeah. And then after you access the website, you can find the country, choose the country, find the vacancies, and what is that? Prepare yourself. Yeah, prepare your CV, prepare your English speaking skill, and prepare your life. Yeah, your job preparation. Okay, everyone, because limited time, I think this is the ending of my presentation. Again, thank you so much to Mr. Rido Khalid, to Ms. Yulan Puspitarini, my team for today, Mr. Agus Hidayat and Ms. Fitra Aulia Ansar, for giving me the opportunity ya. To all of the dear student, thank you so much for the time. Tetap semangat, insya Allah pasti ada jalan. Thank you everyone. Bila taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay,
wabarakatuh.
thank you very much, Mr. Sugeng. It was really interesting, yeah. So we have every opportunity, yeah. We have chance for us to build a career overseas. Oke, tadi sudah disampaikan oleh Mr. Sugeng tata caranya ya, prosedurnya bagaimana agar bisa mendapatkan pekerjaan di luar negeri dan salah satu kesempatan juga ya buat kita. And now let's go to the questions. Pertama ada pertanyaan dari Mr. Said. Nah, pertanyaannya menarik sekali nih, Mister. Kalau saya sudah punya uang dari kerja di luar negeri, tapi saya di sana ngerasa kesepian, gimana ya, Mister? Can money really, really, really buy happiness?
Aku gabut banget ya.
Oke ya. Ini pertanyaannya kalau kerja di luar negeri, kemudian dapat gaji besar, uangnya banyak, apakah
Betul
bisa
sekali,
bahagia
Mister.
gitu ya?
Bentar lagi.
Eh, kalau menurut saya ya sampai sekarang ini saya average aja ya. Mostly people will be very happy if
Agree.
mereka punya uang. Itu biasanya ya paling tidak kita merasa bersyukur loh, bisa bagi-bagi dengan orang lain, bisa sedekah, ya kan? Dan jangan salah, saya sudah apa itu ya lihat ya dalam kehidupan saya ketika orang punya mobil bagus, Pajero-nya keren gitu ya, rumahnya keren, dia tinggal nongkrong aja, pasti ada cewek yang tertarik gitu ya. Kalau memang belum punya pasangan, misalkan belum punya. Beda kalau kita nggak punya kerjaan, jobless, ya, nggak punya uang, nyusahin orang, ya. So, Mr. Sayed, a lot of money is very important in our life. We can share with the poor person. We can make us happy. We can help the others. We can make our parent happy and so on and so forth. Gitu jawaban saya.
Oke,
Kurang
jawaban
lebihnya
yang
mohon maaf ya.
sangat menarik ya, sangat bijak ya. Kita butuh uang
Vote
ya,
for
Mister ya.
Mr. Sugeng.
Nah,
Cuman ya Miss ya. Cuman itu penting.
Okay, let's go to the second questions from Miss Istiqomah Nuramawati. What opportunities are available for work overseas with an English education background?
All right. For English education background, there are a lot of vacancies and opportunities. Sebenarnya kalau tadi itu apa ya websitenya sinyalnya bagus ada kesempatan tuh saya pengen buka-buka semuanya yang di Eropa tuh yang gajinya 50 juta kemudian 80 juta gitu ya kalau dirupiahkan. If you Miss Isti asked me if you come from English education, is there any available job for the student that graduate from English education background? Absolutely yes. There are a lot of vacancies and you can speak English. You can use your education in school or perhaps you can use your education, skill in working, maybe in campus or in school in overseas, but you can work in hotel, passenger ship, restaurant, everywhere. So the topic today is English as a global passport. So this is your passport, guys. Use your skill. This is your. How wonderful you are. You are lucky. You have English education department in you now. It's mean the world is open widely to all of you who want to seek the opportunities. Banyak lowongannya Miss Isti. Nanti lihat aja di situ tuh. Ya. Dan pasti kalau ngomong bahasa Inggrisnya bagus, dia akan diutamakan. Ya. Saya kemarin baru lihat ada 5 lowongan, 3 atau 5 lowongan di Australia ya. Bulan Maret April itu untuk ngajar bahasa Indonesia. Gajinya itu 35 sampai 40 juta kemarin saya browsing. This is also changed for all of the students from the English education background. You can apply as Indonesian teacher in Australia. Why not? Karena di Australia itu teman saya kerja di perkebunan itu di sekolah itu the second language of Australian people is Indonesia. Jadi mereka itu mewajibkan apa itu pelajaran bahasa Indonesia di sekolahnya. Ada kesempatan. I think that's all, Mr. Agus.
Ya, masih ada satu lagi. Masih dari Miss Istiqomah, Mister. Which countries offer the most opportunities for English teachers from Indonesia? And are there any special requirements, sir?
Nah, itu tadi yang aku jawab tadi. Tapi kalau jujur saya nggak tahu ya, kalau misalkan guru-guru di Indonesia itu lowongannya di mana di luar negeri ya, aku belum browsing banyak gitu. Misalkan sarjana pendidikan, terus mereka mau kerja di Singapura gitu, apakah ada sekolah yang menerima itu gitu ya? Atau mungkin sarjana pendidikan bahasa Inggris mau kerja di Dubai gitu ya, ngajar di sana. I do really sorry, I'm not yet what is that browsing or find that kind of vacancies. But I have shared you the place, yeah, the website, those tons of vacancies that open by the ngirim ke PT kamu, interview, kontrak semuanya, semua sudah diurusin. Bahkan itu kalau ada permasalahan di sana bisa dibantu, gitu ya. Itu.
Okay, thank you for the answers, Mr. Sugeng. And kita punya tambahan informasi juga ya dari Miss Aul, Miss Fitra Auliansar. Ya, for other option ya, if you want to go abroad to build a career, you may access like jobs ya, we work remotely and many others ya. Bisa dilihat di kolom chat. Di situ ada beberapa link website ya, Miss. Ya, yang bisa mungkin nanti di waktu senggangnya bisa dicoba untuk dibuka ya. Dan juga sudah ada link dari Mr. Sugeng Riyadi, Siskop ya, Siskop to me.
Ya,
Ya, dari situ juga bisa seperti yang tadi ya, kalau mau cari lowongan di mana tadi, Mister? Jerman ya.
Jerman ya.
Semua negara ya, Mister ya?
Ah, untuk negara-negara yang tadi itu, yang mostly yang data-data tadi itu, tidak semua negara.
Oh,
Di situ ada list negara, misalkan Zimbabwe. Biasanya Indonesia tidak ada kerjasama dengan Zimbabwe. Atau di
kalau
Afrika atau negara-negara yang bahaya dia nggak punya.
berarti di Iran nggak ada ya Iran, Mister?
Di Iran ada, di
Oh
Iran ada.
ada,
Iran Timur, iya Timur Tengah ada. Ya tapi
Mujahid
kan
ya, jadi
walaupun
Mujahid, Sir.
eh, ya artinya dalam situasi memanas seperti ini ya, what is that?
Ya, jadi
Global problem ya. We do
bersih,
hope that this problem will finish soon ya.
ya
Semua
bersih
baik-baik saja lah ya.
bersihin rudal kan bisa ya, Sir ya. Oke. Okay, I think all of the questions have been answered by both our speakers. Now we come to the end of the session. Yeah, but before that, let me share. Wait a minute. Yeah, the token of our appreciation for Miss Fitra Ansar and Mr. Sugeng Riyadi. Thank you very much for all the knowledge and information and experience that you have shared with us, for us. And I hope we can get something, yeah, we can learn something from your presentation. Thank you very much, and we can give applause, virtually give applause. Okay. Yeah, and then for the participants, I will send the certificate through the chat column, chat box. Yeah, you can access it later. Access it later. And I think that's the end of our meeting. Is there any other agenda, Miss Aulia? Miss Aulia, Miss Isti?
Oh, just brief for minal aidin wal faizin, mohon maaf lahir dan batin, sir. Please.
Ya, ya. Dan karena ini pertemuan Omlet terakhir ya di tahun ini, kita akan ketemu lagi insya Allah di tahun depan.
Amin
Selama
ya
Ramadan.
Allah.
Ya, semoga kita bisa belajar lebih banyak lagi dari pemateri-pemateri yang lain yang masih
Ya,
banyak yang
betul.
belum ya. Nanti bergantian lah. Oke, jadi sertifikat pesertanya sudah bisa diakses di chatbox, silahkan di-download. Dan saya selaku moderator mengucapkan maaf jika ada kesalahan kata, dan kita akan ketemu lagi tahun depan, insya Allah. Dan minal aidin wal faizin ya semuanya.
Sama-sama, Sir. Minal aidin wal
Ya,
faizin, mohon maaf lahir batin.
oke, thank you very much for all of the participants and also the speakers. Dan see you. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Everyone.
Miss Ilma, Mr.
Thank you.
Agus,
Thank you,
Miss
Miss Aulia.
Dewi,
Thank you,
Mr.
everyone.
Sugeng.
Makasih teman-teman semuanya, dosen-dosen hebat. Makasih.
Terima kasih adik-adik mahasiswa.
Ya, terima kasih.
Makasih mahasiswa semuanya.